Namaste, angels. This will be the actual love reading for the period of Sunday, July 29th through Saturday, August 4th. By now, many of you well aware that I attempted to perform the love reading earlier, but was instead guided to give you some insight as to what we can expect in the near future as it relates to love, and more specifically divine love and divine beings in general, and why, like from where it comes, the scripture, the prophecy, the history associated with it, even the geography in some cases, right? We talked about Jerusalem quite a bit in that last piece. So I urge you, if you are interested in that aspect of all that is going on, to please watch it. The video is entitled Important Messages, and they are indeed important messages, at least as far as I'm concerned. In follow-up to that, I have now been guided. God has shown me why he had me do it that way and what I'm to do next. And what I'm to do next is to go over to present to you an opening message from the scripture and the prophecies yet again before we get into these cards, just not as long as the other one. When I see these things all over the place, especially if they're posts on Facebook that I can comment that it's the end of the world is coming on XYZ date and stuff, I always just comment Matthew 24:42. And what that is the place in the scripture where God says, like no one's going to know the day, the time, the hour. No one, not even the Son, not even the angels, not even the Son. No one but the Father. So I don't claim to know the day. Don't ever be mistaken that I'm trying to say I know the day and the time that the last day of the world as we know it will be. I don't. But in that same book of Matthew, as a matter of fact, in that same chapter, Matthew 24, it also talks about being prepared. And it talks about a prophet being assigned to have you be prepared, working on behalf of the master to have you prepared, to warn you to prepare, not from a place of fear, but from a place of organization and preparation and realism and faith. If you really believe this is coming at some point, you need to be ready. And so I've been urged time and time again in the recent times to tell you that something is coming and to be ready. Even if it is just energetically, Jesus is coming, or a Messiah is coming, God is coming, or whoever's coming. Energetically, some change is going to come that will be felt by many of us, and we are to be ready for it, is what I've been trying to get across. So with that in mind, our opening message this week will come from Matthew 24 of the Bible. And I'm just using the New International Version. There are over 100 versions of the Bible. I realized that I should read the whole of Matthew 24 as our opening message when I had the thought, okay, I realized that, God was telling me to direct me to Matthew 24. But then when I went online and brought up this version, the New International Version, it is entitled The Destruction of the Temple and Signs of the End Time. And I just was talking about the destruction of the temple as part of my last video. So I said, okay, I'm supposed to start from the beginning from here. So that's what we'll do. Matthew 24. Jesus left the temple and was walking away when his disciples came up to him and called his attention to its buildings. Do you see all these things? He asked. Truly, I tell you, not one stone here will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. Tell us, they said, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? I got to stop there for a second because I just thought about something else that I didn't mention in the other video, but I did mention in the weekly, the general weekly for this week. August 6th, which I said is the day that Venus enters Libra, is also the feast day of the Transfiguration. I was just reminded by Jesus sitting on the Mount of Olives. when he was on the mountain and his disciples in view of him, and he in view of them, but they were not together. They witnessed him engulfed in light, and then saw Elijah and Moses walk up and begin to speak with him. That's also this week. Okay, so I was just reminded by that. All right, so getting back to this. As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him and said privately, "Tell us," they said, "when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" Jesus answered, "Watch out that no one deceives you." I think this is a really important message for us now. Listen to this, because there are a gazillion people online and everywhere else talking about twin flame this and twin flame that, and they don't know a twin flame, or their ass from their elbow. And we really should not be patronizing them in any way. And if there are people who we love who are doing this, we should really be discouraging them from doing it, and instead encouraging them to find their true purpose and to perform that. So Jesus answered, "Watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, and many will deceive. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nations will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famine and earthquake in various places." And we've seen this week, by the way. Earthquake and volcanic eruptions and floods. Pray for Greece, pray for the Philippines, there's all kind of pray for countries this week. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death. Now we're not actual death, in our case. And you can tell that it's not actual death by the next few sentences. Right? You will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me. At that time, many will turn away from faith and will betray and hate each other, and many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Okay, that's what's going on now. But if we were dead, obviously we couldn't experience that. So it's not that kind of death. You'll be persecuted, berated, hated upon. People will do a smear campaign against you, like was done against me last year. People will send you negative energy, try to hex you, curse you, all kinds of foolishness, right? That's what's meant by it. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. Okay, people will begin to get discouraged, is what that is saying, and just fall out of faith. But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. Okay, make sure that's you. Make sure that's you who's standing firm to the end. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation, standing in the holy place, the abomination that causes desolation. We have that now. This is the holy place. This is the sacred place where the light beings are. But we're being infiltrated by dark. We're being infiltrated by negative beings. We're being infiltrated by frauds. That is the abomination standing in the holy place. When you see this, as spoken of through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea to flee the mountains. Let no one on the housetop go down to take anything out of the house. Let no one in the field go back to get their cloak. He's saying, forget about the material shit. Forget about money. Forget about stuff. Forget about how much you can make from YouTube, potentially, if you pretend that you're something that you're not. How dreadful it will be in those days for people like nursing mothers. Pray that your flight will not take place in winter or on the Sabbath. For then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. Okay. Matthew 24:22. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. Okay, this is proof again that we're not talking about death. He's talking about surviving. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. At that time, if anyone says to you, look, here's the Messiah, there he is, do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive. Now, a great sign and wonder to deceive can be somebody with a flourishing YouTube channel, let's just say. Right? Well, it doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. As a matter of fact, I posted something a couple weeks back, unrelated to any of this, not knowing I'd be doing this today, that basically said, like, doesn't matter how many followers one has. It wasn't specific to YouTube. It was in general. Jesus only had 12. Now, I disagree that Jesus only had 12, because if you look at some of the older scripture, it indicates that there were actually 25 apostles. That's another story. The point is, the fact that some of these people have, a gazillion followers means absolutely nothing in terms of what they're really doing out there. And if they are, doesn't necessarily give them validity, is what I'm trying to say. So at the time, if anyone says to you, look, here is the Messiah, there he is, do not believe it. False messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. So even the elect can be deceived, and even some among the elect can fall into this trap of phoniness and trying and living out a purpose that's not theirs, or attempting to. So if anyone tells you, after it says, if possible, even the elect, see, I have told you ahead of time. So it's like, I'm telling you to be prepared for this to come. So if anyone tells you, there he is out in the wilderness, do not go. Here he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible in the west, so will be the Son of Man. Wherever there is a carcass, there will be vultures that gather. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened. We're about to have the full solar eclipse on August 11th that I've been shown, gazillion times. The sun will be darkened. The moon will not give its light. We just had that happen yesterday with the eclipse, the lunar eclipse. The stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then all the peoples of the earth will mourn when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds. So from the four corners of the earth, he's going to pick up these elect people. We don't have to be together. Okay, from one end of the heavens to the other. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer's near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it's near, right at the door. Truly, I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. The day and the hour unknown. But about that day or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be with the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field. One will be taken, the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a hand mill, one taken, the other left. Therefore, here's the part I always comment, that I think is so important. Matthew 24:42. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this: if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come in an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is the faithful and wise servant whom the master has put in charge of the other servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time? That means like to warn them, to encourage them to prepare. It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. Truly, I tell you, he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But suppose that servant is wicked and says to himself, my master is staying away a long time. And then he begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with drunkards. Then the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and an hour that he's not aware of, and he will cut him to pieces and assign him to a place with hypocrites, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So now, to tie it all into what I talked about earlier, going back to Revelations 3, just going to read another letter, this one to the church of Philadelphia. To the angel of the church in Philadelphia, please write, these are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one can shut. What he shuts, no one can open. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you've kept my word and have not denied my name. I will make those of you who are of the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be of the Jews, though you are not, but are liars, I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you, since you have kept my command to endure patiently. I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come on the whole world to test the inhabitants of earth. And that was Revelations 3:7, and now 11. I'm coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take your crown. Okay, this is protect you, nurture you. The one who is victorious, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God. Never again will they leave it. I will write on them the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, okay, 5D, the new earth, which is coming down out of heaven from my God. And I will also write on them my new name. Whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Amen. All right, so let's get into this. I stopped at exactly 18 minutes and 18 seconds. That again was longer than I meant to do. I will put a timestamp for those who want to fast forward, because I usually don't talk before the love reading. Anyway, I'm beginning with buy shoes. Email. And a weekend away. Spirit says 29, spiritual partnership. Anybody that's hearing that noise in the back, I apologize. That is my air conditioner. And it is on, what do they call that? Like it goes off when the temperature cools to 65 degrees, it shuts itself off. And then if it changes, it comes back on. I was going to shut it off completely before starting the reading, but it's 91 degrees outside. So then I changed my mind. Also, okay, forget it. And weekend away yet again. I think weekend away came up also in the general reading. Going to the cards, I'm beginning with love and opening to reflection. Love and physical body. Right out of the gate, the energy of fire. Perhaps more of this Leo. And this, I think, could be loving on oneself. It could be sexual too. Right? Love and physical body. But this could be about nurturing oneself as well. addition, it could be metaphorical and relating to loving the skin you're in and being happy with you. Opening to inner child brings in the energy of the sign of Aquarius, all these stars on these very, key communication centers, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra. The star in the tarot represents the sign of Aquarius, as does all this smoke and clouds behind this child for me. And the green and blue bring in the energies of as well of earth and water. Love and the gateway. Awesome. 811 right away. Getting into that, or perhaps the Lion's Gate, right? The 8-8. And opposite golden memories, which is more fire energy, and talks about the shit we need to drop before we go any further, before we try to go through this gateway. The healing that we need to do, the clearing and cleansing of ourselves that we need to do before we try to go through this gateway. Golden memories represents all the pain, the regret, the inability to forgive, the resentment, the fear. Any negative emotions, any relationships of the past that don't serve us anymore, circumstances from the past, we are to drop it all. Any of those material things that don't really mean anything, that are holding us back, drop that, forget it also. That's what the golden memory is about. And only taking the positive lessons that we've learned forward. Our bags need to be light, packed light when we enter this gateway. But I think it's showing up this way this week, specifically because of what I've been talking about, involving the Lion's Gate, the new moon in Leo, the full solar eclipse in Leo, opening to soulmate. Soulmate. I also talked about the month of Elul, which begins next week, the day after our full solar eclipse and new moon. August 12th is the first day of the month of Elul, which means I am my beloved and my beloved is me. And now I have these two cards sharing a lot of the same colors and energies coming from them. The yellow, the red, the blue, the purple, the orange. One, eternal flame. So representative of the connection as well. And the other, soulmate. I am my beloved is me. Eternal flame, one more. Forgiveness. Atonement. The Lion's Gate, the one on this plane, like the actual geographical place, location, the Lion's Gate in Jerusalem, was built by King Solomon. I talked about this too in my last video, as atonement for having destroyed the temples. So to make up for it, because of bad dreams he had begun to have about lions eating him and things, he, in seeking the people of Jerusalem's forgiveness and God's forgiveness, he built the Lion's Gate, or had it built. So I think that's why forgiveness is coming up this week. We need to exercise it as well. And lastly, relationship, which shows up when we want to improve relationships with others, and we first need to work with our relationship with ourselves and work on ourselves in general in terms of healing. Maybe to the extent that we need to be able to forgive ourselves and then forgive other people and release these negative emotions. There's also a lot of stars on here, this card here, and this could be telling us that it is the energy of that full moon in Aquarius that's going to help us to release all these things. I love this. The overall energy is gateway. Okay, this week, the divine feminine about herself, the masculine about the feminine, about himself, and the union as a whole. Overall, what the masculine would have the feminine to do toward the union this week. what he himself is willing to. What the universe would have the two to do and the outcome. Feminine. Dreams. So this is about looking forward. In some cases, we can be having actual dreams. It can be more literal and receiving messages, but for the most part, it's about looking forward. And again, preparation. What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? It shares a lot of the same colors as the gateway, as does the card that's underneath it. When I picked that gateway up, the inner child. So what can we do to heal this inner child? Because that she's at the moment possibly keeping us from fulfilling our dreams. She needs healing first. She needs to be addressed first. And then we can live these out. The masculine as it relates to the feminine this week. Golden memories. So things that are holding the two of you back, that need to be let go, that he's aware of. It needs to be let go, and only taking the positive aspects and lessons going forward. And some of those positive things may have started out in a place that we felt was uncomfortable and, maybe even, dare I say, negative. But the fact that we ended up learning from them and growing from them transmutes them to love and to positivity. And that's all that we want to take with us going forward from those lessons. So the masculine as it relates to the feminine in a place where the two need to, drop these old things that are holding them back. And these are often negative emotions and negative cords of attachment. The masculine about himself this week, fear. I think that he had this card last week in this position as well. And we're in keeping with the theme and element of fire. So also aware that he's in this place of fear. And then maybe that's why he's been holding on to old shit, old baggage. It's easier. Even if it comes with difficulty and misery, unhappiness, and there's happiness here, and there's happiness in the memories, we tend to, stay with things that we're used to, that have become, to which we've become like complacent out of fear. The masculine's feelings on the union as a whole this week. Birth. How beautiful is that? It can start again. And this card, it's really about, it's a sacred birth, a sacred rebirth. Because this dove for me is very, very Pentecostal. And that's what the Feast of the Pentecost is about. It's connected to the resurrection. And it is about Jesus and other saints having been raised from the dead and like ascending again, so where they had shed themselves and all aspects of themselves, they came back anew. That is the masculine's feelings on the union as a whole this week. And all of these, again, keeping in this theme of fire, all of the same colors repeating. Overall, miracles. They do come true if we have faith. So the messages, the beginning messages, the prelude, and the one I just read, very much so about faith and the need to maintain it. What would the masculine have the feminine do? Because prayer without works is dead. We have to actually do stuff too. What would the masculine have us do this week toward the union? And this is spiritual growth. So just talking about spiritual growth, the need to work on the healing and so that we can live out these dreams. We have to address the inner child. We have to, cleanse ourselves of certain things, these old negative emotions perhaps, so that we can go through the gateway. So the masculine wants us to do just that. Work on spiritual growth this week. What is he himself willing to do this week? Keep the fire burning for when it's time. And again, he's still in keeping with this theme here. What would the universe have the two of us to do this week? Enchantment. So we're both guided to work on healing. And healing both archetypes of ourself too. So this can be where physical body comes back into play as well. We have Venus here, we have Mars here, both coming down through this feminine being, head to toe healing she's working on. And she's gone into complete surrender. She's 100% vulnerable. She's scarred. She's been beaten. She's been torn, but nothing is stopping her. She is still in full faith, believing in miracles, eyes closed, head tilted back, and letting the universe do what it will to heal her. So that's what it would have us do as well this week. And the outcome, sorrow. Sorrow. This is the release of all the pain. This is the release that we're to go through this week. And that was expected. And even here, I don't know if you can see, there's more stars here. This is more of this Aquarius, and it's surrounded by red. So it is like very Mars in Aquarius, or even the Leo energy that we're surrounded by as well right now. And then there's hearts on this side. There's hearts on this side. So this is about the releasing of all of these negative emotions here. Again, leading to the spiritual growth. It will cause some tears, maybe some shedding. And then once that's gone, once it's out, the rebirth. From the universe's perspective, beginning with destiny with the hashtag creepy deck and opening to control. Some manipulation, being manipulated. That's certainly not our destiny. Control. Soulmate. Opposite this control. This can be a karmic soulmate that is manipulating us, or we them. Opening to passion, so getting back to the fire energy, the love, maybe moving away from this. Or this can be also symbolizing where we attempt to restrict this and to hide this and to hold it back, rather than experiencing it out of fear. Again, avoiding situations that would make us happier because the misery has become more comfortable. Passion. And speaking of the misery, the card that represents the karmic energy and can possibly actual female and an actual person in your life, brunette female. Passion and money represents earth signs for me, can be literal as money relates to, sometimes money is a block for us to love. Again, going back to the opening message, guided to forget about this stuff and only this is all that's important. And from a more positive standpoint, money can represent the value and the worth of real love too, genuine love. Money. I'm going to cut. We do have Venus, ruler of earth sign Taurus, entering Libra this week. So that could be where money is coming in too. We also have Uranus going retrograde in Taurus. That can be where money is coming from as well. And coming to travel. This card often reflective for me of retrogrades and sort of traveling back and revisiting certain situations. It can be literal, about actual travel, maybe going, to visit one another. We did also have on the dice, weekend away for this week. Can be about movement in a situation that had previously been stagnant as well. Divine couple. Recent past, masculine's higher self. Near future. Blocks to the union. What the feminine can do to help or work on what the masculine can do, what the universe would have the two to do and will help us with this week. Not that they won't help us with the other stuff, but this is something we can expect from the universe and the outcome. Divine couple. The passion is back. Very nice. So we're staying in this fiery energy. I love it. Recent past. Obstacles. Okay, I'm glad that's behind us. Near future. Union. I like where this is going. Masculine's higher self. Money. Value, worth. And it can be actual money too. Especially with the masculine. They tend to get stuck with that. And an earth sign can be, particularly impactful upon some of us this week, as can a fire sign. Other blocks to the union. Karma. Makes sense, right? We're dealing with karma, karmic lessons, karmic relationships. This is blocks to the union. And this too can be tied to the retrogrades and the overall energy of travel, which relates to retrogrades for me. Particularly with Saturn still retrograde currently in Capricorn. Okay, and we have it crossing the money. Capricorn, Earth, Karma, Saturn. What the feminine can do, fun times. Just live your life anyway. Be social, enjoy yourself. Don't shut down. Don't go into anything negative, a negative head, a negative mindset. Live and love. What can the feminine do here? Break free, seek your freedom, get really into that Aquarian energy. It's all about freedom, humanitarianism, this bigger and better than any one of us as an individual. This is about collective, breaking free because you got a higher purpose to serve that's going to, help humanity, save the world. What would the universe have the two of us to do and is going to help us with this week? These parties of three. Not necessarily love triangles, but, quite possible. But there's a third energy surrounding a lot of us, and the universe is going to help us to rid ourselves of it this week. And the outcome, a different kind of party of three. Children, and not necessarily real children. This card, like the birth card in the last deck, was an outcome. This represented the overall union. This card too, for me, often very much connected to the energy of like the Empress, that three, and that's about new things, new ideas, new opportunities, a new start to relationship. Also the Empress card connected to value, worth, abundance, representing the planet Venus, who again will be is a ruler of Taurus and will be located in Libra next week. For which this reading is, during the period for which this reading is. New beginnings, a new start, birth. This is birth. Also, three is representative of creation and the creator. And there can be pregnancy or something connected to this too, is what I'm feeling. That's why I paused for a second. Something else was coming. Speaking of children and pregnancy, and also of soulmates, going to the Angel Tower, beginning with the Six of Water, which can represent all of those. Memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, and romanticizing the past. Opening to the Eight of Water, a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth, which we've already seen is important this week. Eight of Water. Oop. Speaking of eights, the Eight of Earth, sort of jumping out. Skilled work is rewarded. Also maybe learning all there is to know about a topic and possibly even going back to school. This can be the school of, life. School of hard knocks, getting an education by experience. The Eight of Earth doesn't have to be literal school. Eight of Earth is basically about being rewarded for the work that you put in. An opening to the Knight of Air. Intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless is the Knight of Air. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options. You can come up with creative solutions. The Knight of Air is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Also can be Venus herself or Mercury himself. And can often be about the need to make some sort of decision. In this case, maybe a decision to leave, a decision to move toward something or someone or away from them. Eight of Water. And the Knight of Earth, who's loyal, dedicated, honorable, and kind. Time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. You have a guardian angel. The Knight of Earth is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to these traits or attributes. Is a knight that always reaches his goal, but slow and steady wins the race as far as he's concerned. We could be waiting and waiting or waiting. Like we needed this energy yesterday as far as we're concerned, and he's not coming till next week. It's that kind of thing. Eight of Water, and I was going to say last one. I think this one is a nice one to end on. The Four of Fire, the Four of Wands. Contentment, peace, and abundance. A happy home life and the successful completion of a project. Eight of Water. And the King of Fire, motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. The King of Fire is a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or possibly even a Scorpio, and can be coming through to represent Mars or Jupiter, even Mercury, again, currently located in Leo. Overall experience is life experience or the Tower. Major Arcana card number 16, which for me represents the sign of Scorpio. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change. It's time to spread your wings. It is very much connected to the energy of death and rebirth for me. Something crumbling down to be rebuilt. Like Shiva the Destroyer, right? He comes in, he knocks the whole thing down so we can start all over again. Death and rebirth, like that. It can also be about an actual structure, a tower, a home, or something. Crowning the Masculine. Major Arcana card, Justice, number 8. And here's our 811 for the masculine. Again, I mean, this has been happening. I've been seeing justice for the masculine for like 2 months now. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. For some of us, this can be connected to an actual legal decision. We just saw the Knight of Air as well. Legal decision that we're awaiting or that we've received. For others, this is about us making some sort of decision and making sure that we're on the right, the right side of right. Surrounding the masculine, it's another form of 811. 8 and 2 is the 811 2. 2 equals 11. 2 is also about partnership, relationships, and faith. The High Priestess. Listen to your intuition, have patience, and consider carefully what you want before acting. So masculine has a decision to make or is awaiting one, has something to do. He's getting information, not just from like an air sign would get it, not just like data, but he's also having intuitive thoughts and feelings, and he's supposed to pay attention to that as well. Like not just listen to like the logic. The High Priestess, she can be collecting information. She's very observant, super observant. Represents the sign of Gemini for me, or perhaps a water sign. Collecting information, but doesn't necessarily use it. She uses it as needed. Doesn't like reveal her cards, as they say. Masculine subconscious, it's another 2. The 2 of Fire. You've come into your own. New partnerships. I just talked about partnership here. Twos represent partnership, new partnerships or contracts. We also had today, for this week, 29, spiritual partnership. Continue to move forward. Two of Fire is about the faith stage. Like we manifested things in the number 1 stage. Now we're up to 2. 2 is about faith. To really bring those manifestations to the point where they're not just dreams, but they're beginning to come to fruition. They're beginning to take form. That's 2. 2 also representative, of course, of the divine union in the tarot. You know, it's the twin flame card of the tarot. And the crowning and root card here, another 8-11. Crowning the feminine. Major Arcana card number 18, the moon, which represents the sign of Pisces, or perhaps one of the other water signs. Important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. This too is about paying attention to our intuition, and where we have listened to it, throwing caution to the wind otherwise, and going after whatever it is we've been guided to go after, like dropping the fear, even like ignoring the fact that we don't have all the information, not worrying about that, having some faith and still, you know, just going for it if that's the guidance we've received to do, you know, to do so. Surrounding the feminine, the 7 of Fire, defend your beliefs and decisions, stand your ground, choose your battles wisely. The 7 of Fire is like a warrior spirit, you know, we're a fighter. But we're not going to fight every fight. We're not going to fight every fight, but we're like very much in the game when the 7 of Fire shows up, and we're going to stand our ground. We're not going to let anybody push us around. And when in the other spread, you know, we're going to handle our business. Feminine subconscious, the Knight of Water, maybe this Pisces here or the water sign. Knight of Water is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, someone likened to these traits or attributes. Emotional, romantic, enthusiastic, and contemplative is he. Falling in love or wedding proposals, the need to balance emotions, and maybe even an invitation to the social event. Knight of Water is famous for proposals. He proposes things that make us happy. I propose we go on a date. I propose we get married. I propose we move in together. I propose, you know, you talk to me on the phone. That's what he's good for. He may be a direct water sign, particularly with these two here, but doesn't have to be. Crowning, speaking of direct water sign, the King of Water, trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice and charity work. As far as I'm concerned, charity work is love. Charity work is unconditional love. It's very 6 of Pentacles for me. It's being able to give and receive without agenda. King of Water, like the Knight, a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. At the root here, the Magician, which represents the sign of Gemini, or perhaps another mutable sign for me, Pisces, Sagittarius, also Virgo. You are ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them, and life is magical. So a moment ago, I told you about how the 1 is where we begin to manifest. The things we speak over our life, we think over our life. That's the beginning of manifestation. And then with the 2 is having faith that they will indeed take form. So we have the ability this week to do both of those things, particularly the masculine. All right, he's really got it. He's got the 1, he's got the 2. He's got 2 2s here. At the heart of the matter, the 8 of Water, a desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. So again, some of you are going to want to walk away from the past, right? Just let it go. That doesn't mean ending a relationship. That means letting it go. Remember the Golden Memories card? Dismissing, just out of hand. We're just done with this now. The old resentment, fear, sadness, worry, anxiety, regret, and we're going for stuff now. Even if we don't have all the information, we're continuing to forge ahead because we've come into our own. We've begun to manifest things. We're supposed to continue to move forward. We've, figured out what's right for us and what we need to do to achieve it, and which in large part includes having faith. And so we're going to do that. That's what the 8 of Water and the moving on is about. I don't really see anything of moving on as in away from people in a negative way. But we're going to further clarify these by bringing the love oracle back. So I'll just give these a little shuffle. And opening up right away to more fire energy and that transmutation I was talking about. Taking that negative stuff, those negative things from the past, emotions, and turn them into love. Taking this sadness and turning it into love. Transmutation. Eternal flame back already. Again. Eternal flame. Sacred union. Eternal flame. Emergence, more of this fire and rising from the ashes. After we set a fire to all this crap, all the old stuff that we can't take with us, that we shouldn't take with us, that we won't be permitted through the gateway with, after we burn that up, we rise from those ashes. Eternal flame. Again, that involves first addressing this inner child. Here's the Golden Path. When this card shows up, it totally reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. I'll show you how. I mean, those of you who watch me all the time, you know how. But I have some new subscribers. Welcome, by the way, new and old. Here's the rainbow, right? Remember from the Wizard of Oz, somewhere over the rainbow. Now, here's the Golden Path. I know you remember the Yellow Brick Road. Why were they going down the Yellow Brick Road? To where were they trying to get? The Emerald City. When you walk down the Golden Path, we are trying to reach the Emerald Ray. That's the ray of healing. And when we get there, at the end, Archangel Raphael is there waiting for us. Jesus is there, right? All these healers of the ages, all these ascended masters, masters of healing, there at the end to celebrate us having made it. Also, when this card shows up, it means that we are on path and we need to stay the course, continue down this path of healing. Overall energy, like the last card that we ended up with before with the 3 children, is creativity. And that's the energy I was getting from that. Remember I said the creator, creation, creativity comes with 3s and was what I was getting from that card. That's what this card is about too. Pursuing our passions in a creative way. Coming up with creative ways to pursue our passions. Co-creating together. And here we have very much so fire, with this angel with the fire red wings. Behind her is a full moon, which represents the sign of Pisces in the tarot, but rules the sign of Cancer in real life. She's got a star on her forehead. She's very much Aquarius and water bearer, for not just that, but because of the fact that she's holding this vessel here, and from which water is spilling out, and she's standing in a pool. This is a pool of water from which translucent fish are jumping out. That's so Pisces, right? So Neptune, dreams, goals, fantasies. And then I can feel the Mars also, and specifically like the Mars in Aquarius that drove this full moon this week. Coming through also the red planet, right? All this red clouds, red wings. This is going to be what pushes us into action. The energy that comes this week, likened to this card. Atop Justice, Major Arcana card Justice, number 8 for the masculine. Transience. So it's full head to toe healing and restoration for him. Where something was taken, where something was lost, and it shouldn't have been. Your just due didn't go to you as it rightfully should have. You're being restored in all those areas where something was missing, where there was lack, where there was hole. Atop the high priestess, love. So there's no need to fear, because fear isn't even like a real thing, right? Fear is an illusion. Fear is, it's negative energy that we manifest as, yes, and into the form of an illusion. Love is the only thing is real. So when you use your intuition and you look inside your heart and you look inside, yourself, and you listen to the butterflies in your stomach and things, then you know what you have to do. And that's partnership. And faith. Atop the Two of Wands, listening. This too very much Mars and Aquarius with this fire. And then here we have the star, again representative of the sign of Aquarius. So listening, I think, again, to the guidance that you're receiving with the high priestess sitting over this. But also this can be about communication with one another, telepathic, maybe specifically Aquarius, ruler of technology, and a communication sign as an air sign. But most specifically for me, because it is connected to technology, it's electronic communication, and that includes telepathy, because we're electronic beings, electric beings. So this is messages from the universe to you, messages between you and your partner, messages between you and your higher self and your inner self as well. Atop the moon, feminine, more this energy of both water and air and the need to come into balance. So this is about letting go of the fear and negative emotions too, which the moon guides us to do, right? Release the fears that are holding you back. This man looks frightened. We can see it in his face and in his eyes, even though he has this support here. So we're guided to not be like this, but knowing that we have the support and we're getting the messages, it's mirroring the listening. That's what we're to do, to listen to that intuition and the insight, the psychic insight that we're getting, and drop any feelings like this and restore balance, help to restore balance to ourselves and inner peace. Atop the Seven of Fire is the sorrow. So whatever decisions we have made, and whether we, mourn letting something go or the ending of something, we're still sticking to that decision. We decided that it's coming to an end. We're done in this phase. We're moving to another phase. We're going to, not let anybody talk us out of it. Also, this is saying that we've decided to not be sad anymore, too. And to not be stuck and wallow in depression and, negativity and stuff, to instead restore balance to ourselves and peace. And we're going to commit to doing that and not be swayed from it or talked out of it. Or encouraged to, slip back into negative habits and addictive patterns and things that would bring us back to this. This is from what we're moving on. Remember the 8 of water was sitting here next to this? We're moving on from this. Atop the King of Water, the Knight of Water, miracles. So this is what he's proposing, right? All the things your man won't do. He's going to make them happen miraculously. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, he's going to perform miracles for you. That's what he's proposing. Atop the King of Water, enchantment. So this is going through an emotional healing too. It's not just exchanging love, which that will happen. That will happen with the energy of the King of Water, but that's not all it is. We're going through an emotional healing. And that's really evident here on the side of the feminine with these two cards also. Atop the Magician, where we can make stuff happen. We can make these miracles ourselves is the golden memory. So how do we do that? How do we go about manifesting things? Through positive energy and positive thought. How do we get to positive energy and positive thought? By letting go of the negative. And we have it here, crossing the sorrow. I just said we were done with this. Letting go of the negative is going to bring us the positive and help us to bring about the love and relationships that we want. At the heart of the matter, atop the 8 of water, earth connection, which is an abundance of love coming our way. See this heart here? That's the love, but also it's abundance in general. When this card shows up, represents very much so for me the planet Venus, the planet of abundance, love, and money, and it sits here next to love. So what we're moving away from is sorrow, is negativity, is pain, is the stuff of the old, and we're moving toward, with this energy of the 8 of water, abundance in all forms.
Namaste, angels. This is going to be the weekly love reading for the period of Sunday, July 29th through Saturday, August 4th. A lot has been going through my mind. A lot has been going on. I've been having so many visions and so many things, and I'm going to try to quickly get through some of them in a way that they make sense. And don't tell me I should have written them down. I know. All right, so I've been talking a lot about the Lionsgate and trying to encourage you all to, get your readings in, get your energy healing in. Yes, the Lionsgate occurs every year on or around the 8th. We tend to celebrate the culmination on the 8th so that it's 8/8, but it doesn't always fall on 8/8. In fact, I don't remember it falling on 8/8 since 2015. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought about it the other day. I'm pretty sure last year it was the 12th. And I tend to have a good memory about numbers and dates and stuff, but don't necessarily quote me. Anyway, it begins.
Our further advice this week will also come from this deck. Well, all the decks we use. But also I want to see from my lessons deck, like what lesson each archetype can take away for the week, what to work on. And additionally, I have my angel therapy cards here too for some further advice. Begin with heart chakra. The answer that you seek is in your heart right now. So that's kind of like what we saw here. Paying attention to intuition and your heart, your feelings, rather than only logic and rather than fear, certainly. Be open to giving and receiving love. And that's what I talked about with regard to the king of water, that he is able to give and receive love when he's in a healthy place. And, he's charitable, and that's what charity is, right? Being able to give and receive without agenda. Opening to parents, the divine truth is that your parents eternally love you to the best of their ability. The angels are helping you to heal from any pain associated with your mother or father. Also, with this month, I talked about what next month is, the month of Elul, right? Connected to our divine partners. But this month is the month of Av, which is the month of father. That could be another reason why we're receiving this card. Heart chakra. Third eye chakra. It's safe for you to see the energy of love in all of its forms. Right here at the heart of the matter, we have abundance in all of its forms, or the energy of love in all of its forms, such as angels, auras, and visions. Heart chakra. Clear, cancel, delete. Use only positive words and thoughts as they're rapidly manifesting into form. Ask the angels to cancel the effects of past negative thinking.
Ascended masters. Powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching over and guiding you. I talked about them being at the end of the rainbow, and we have like an aura, a sphere of aura of all the rays, and it looks kind of like a rainbow too. Overall energy is solar plexus chakra, which is a bunch of yellow, actually, and orange. So this takes me back to that physical body card. And the need to focus on that. Sort of this portion that they would call your trunk or your torso. It's safe for you to be powerful and to take charge of your life in positive ways. That's that Seven of Wands energy. Making decisions and not letting anybody like to trample on them. Change your mind for you. Lastly, what lesson can each archetype take away? Beginning with courage. Some more of this energy of Leo, the lion, and strength, courage. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. All right, we're doing that. Was it here? Well, with the high priestess, we're facing fear with confidence because we're looking within. And also here with the moon. Speaking of fear, there it is. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Courage. Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. Wasn't our overall energy creativity? Courage. And relationships. I'm attracted to those people who serve my higher good. Amen to that. Courage. Failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. The overall energy is judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. So, what is the takeaway as far as lessons for the masculine this week? I like this. Abundance. I am a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. Wasn't that what our spread just said? We have this abundance sitting here at the heart of the matter. And we have the magician sitting here right underneath it. I have the ability to manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. So reconfirmation for the masculine. What is the feminine takeaway as far as lessons this week? Balance. Well, isn't that what it said? Reconfirmation for us too. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. So that's what we got to work on if we don't feel like we're actually in that place. As far as angel therapy, what say the angels to the masculine? Sacral chakra. You are a highly sensitive being to chemicals, additives, processed foods, and energies right now. Respect your sensitivities by avoiding harsh items, situations, and relationships. So anything with which you do not vibe, check it. Or anyone, too. Feminine, similarly, emotional sensitivity. Honor and respect your deep sensitivity as it is a gift to all. So by honoring and respecting it, part of that is protecting it too. So similar to the masculine, if we need to make adjustments, make them. From the angels to the masculine. Ooh, nice. The Ace of Water. This could be reconciliation, all kinds of new beginnings that are extremely emotionally fulfilling, falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. It's love. Abundant love. For the feminine, from the angels, the Five of Fire. Competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others.
That's possible. And where it does happen, it tends to be conflict with our close friends and or family when it's the suit of fire, for me. But this, from a more positive standpoint, can be about the need to take action. It's Wands cards, fire, the element of fire is about action and movement. And we need to get moving on a situation. So we have the 5, and right here in our spread, we are already sort of advancing to the energy of the 7 of fire. But we need to be mindful of this, that we got to take action in some area, maybe make a decision, and then stick to it. From the hashtag creepy deck to the masculine, open relationship. So this week, I would say that it is more so about being in the open and being, the true you. Especially looking at the cards that you already have here. Transience, love, listening. So listening and listening, sitting here atop the 2 of fire. Listening to your own heart, your own emotions, your own intuition, with the high priestess sitting here above that with love. And where your heart is telling you to go, that's to where you should go. And, be open about it, not in the closet. Don't be afraid to be who you are and with who you want to be. And with the high priestess, what is showing up, especially sitting here with love, it can mean that there's a stark difference between you and the person with whom you are in love. It could be 2 different races. Because like with the high priestess, I get sometimes like dysmorphia, and physical body did show up, like physical body. Body dysmorphia, like you want to be something different. You're not happy with the way you look or what you are or who you are. And it translates for me in my readings to differences between 2 people. So like, I wish I wasn't different or they weren't different, because then it would be so easy for us to be together. Like this way, I'm afraid to be out in the open. We had the masculine turn up with fear in one of the earlier spreads. I'm afraid to be out in the open because what are people going to say? What are people going to think if I'm black and she's white? If, I'm fat and she's skinny? If I'm short and she's tall? If she's old and I'm young? Whatever it is. If I'm Jewish and she's Muslim? And so on and so on. So this is about masculine for you, coming out of the closet and being who you are, or at least not being, or at least reaching a point where you're not afraid to do that, even if you don't actually do it. Listening to the inner voice and getting started as far as that's concerned. To doing what you want to do and being who you want to be. Remember, freedom turned up for you, so that's part of that. It's all connected. For the feminine from the hashtag creepy deck, past love. So I said this tends to have to do where it is a conflict or some sort of bothersome situation. It tends to have to do with close friends and or family, and it can be one of those karmic issues that showed up. Remember, blocks to the union, karma. This in past love or my close friends and or family does include like, spouses and like the other parent of our children and all that kind of stuff. Children also having shown up here, as well as party of 3. So where we have those kind of situations, you can expect possibly some sort of thorn in your side to pop up. But again, you're going to decide to move however you want to move and stick to that, unless you decide to change your mind. Don't let somebody else change your mind for you. And from the love oracle to the masculine, goddess. So masculine, you this week are guided to surrender, to step more deeply into your feminine energy. The energy of the moon is, the moon is a feminine entity, being, and represents feminine energy. And for me, even further to that, specifically feminine energy of surrender. And that's what you are guided to do, masculine, again, to come out of the closet, and surrender to what your heart is telling you to do. And lastly, for the feminine, the mystics. We kind of got our own like high priestess type of card here. Or, it's also similar, I guess, to these, to the air and water and to the moon. All about also us paying, close attention to our intuition and being sort of high priestess like too. Playing our cards close to our chest, as they say, revealing what we have to, not revealing what we don't or don't choose to, don't want to. Also, this can be about communication, maybe specifically telepathic. It's mirroring also the masculine's listening card, in a sense, well, at least the cards that are related to it are. And with the star, again, this brings in the energy of Aquarius once again, which is about communication as an air sign, but then more specifically, electronic communication. So it definitely can be with our minds and not even speaking. And whether you're together or apart. I mean, sometimes my divine masculine and I, we've had, for the most part, a non-verbal communication. So I get it. And, hey, if it works for you, do it. You like it, I love it. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the weekly love reading. I may be back. Who knows? Shit has been so random this time recently. If you liked the video, you enjoyed the video, please actually like the video by clicking like. If you're not yet a subscriber, please do subscribe, and then make sure you also click on the notification bell. I don't know why they make it so difficult, but they do. So I'm asking you to please do both. And share. Also, I'm having a contest, a giveaway to celebrate the 5,000 subscribers that I already have. Thank you guys. And I'm giving away in the theme of five gifts. An hour-long reading, a half-hour-long reading, a custom animation. It can be an avatar. You can pretty much draw anybody or anything, but, animated. And if you wanted to look at the work, you can check out the artist at KLIBRN, IG, Facebook, Twitter. And that was 3. A Divine Light Cleanse. And a month's worth of links to my daily readings that otherwise my Patreon subscribers would be the only one to see them. So they're exclusive to them, but I'll give you a month's worth of access to my dailies. So if you want to be in the giveaway, which will be live on YouTube, streamed live on August 31st, please do, between now and August 30th, share a video from any of my pages or to any of my pages, and from one of my videos, not just a random video. Share one of my videos, and tag me in it, and tag 2 friends, like-minded friends that you think would fit in here with us and we with them. All right, thanks guys. Bye.